Your check engine light turns on, you scan the vehicle, and the trouble code P0101 appears. Before you replace the mass airflow sensor and spend money unnecessarily, stop and understand what this code really means. P0101 means the engine computer has detected that the mass airflow sensor signal is outside the expected range or is not performing as expected. In simple terms, the airflow data entering the engine does not match what the computer expects based on engine speed, load, and operating conditions. The mass airflow sensor plays a critical role in engine operation. It measures how much air is entering the engine so the computer can calculate the correct amount of fuel. When this data is inaccurate, fuel delivery becomes incorrect, which can lead to drivability issues, poor fuel economy, and increased emissions. Modern engine computers constantly cross-check MAF sensor data with other sensors. Throttle position, intake air temperature, oxygen sensor feedback, and fuel trim values are all used to verify airflow readings. When these values do not agree, the computer sets a performance or range code like P0101. One of the biggest mistakes people make with P0101 is immediately replacing the mass airflow sensor. While the sensor can fail, it is often not the root cause of the problem. Many other issues can cause airflow data to look incorrect. Unmetered air entering the engine is one of the most common causes of P0111. Any air that enters the engine after the MAF sensor is not measured. Cracked intake hoses, loose clamps, leaking intake boots, or damaged plastic ducts can all allow extra air to enter and confuse the engine computer. A dirty or contaminated MAF sensor is another frequent cause. Oil vapor, dust, or debris can coat the sensor element and affect its ability to measure airflow accurately. This is especially common on vehicles with reusable or over-oiled air filters. Restricted airflow can also trigger P0101. A clogged air filter, collapsed intake hose, or blocked air path can limit airflow. When actual airflow does not match expected values, the computer may set a range or performance code. Fuel trim data provides valuable diagnostic information. If short-term or long-term fuel trims are excessively positive or negative, the engine computer is compensating for incorrect airflow data. Fuel trims help confirm whether the MAF sensor readings are believable. Electrical problems should not be overlooked. Damaged wiring, poor grounds, loose connectors, or corrosion can cause unstable or incorrect sensor signals. Intermittent electrical faults can make P0101 difficult to diagnose if testing is skipped. Before replacing any parts, proper diagnosis is essential. Start by scanning the vehicle for additional trouble codes. Fuel trim codes, intake air temperature codes, or oxygen sensor codes can help point you in the right direction. Next, perform a careful visual inspection of the intake system. Check all hoses, ducts, and connections between the air filter and the throttle body. Any leak or damage in this area can cause incorrect airflow readings. Inspect the mass airflow sensor closely. If contamination is present, clean the sensor using the correct MAF cleaner. Never touch the sensor element directly. In many cases, proper cleaning restores accurate airflow readings. Use a scan tool to monitor live MAF data. Compare airflow readings at idle during acceleration and at steady cruising speed. Erratic or unrealistic values indicate a performance issue. At the same time, monitor fuel trims. If airflow readings change but fuel trims remain extreme, additional issues may be present. This comparison helps confirm whether the problem is truly airflow related. Driving with a P0101 code can cause hesitation, rough idle, poor acceleration, and reduced fuel economy. Ignoring the issue can eventually damage the catalytic converter if the air-fuel mixture remains incorrect. The biggest mistake with P0101 is guessing instead of testing. Replacing the mass airflow sensor without confirming the cause often leads to wasted money and repeat repairs. A systematic diagnostic approach is always the most reliable solution. Once the root cause is repaired, clear the code and test drive the vehicle. Monitor MAF data and fuel trims to confirm normal operation. It may take several drive cycles for the engine computer to fully verify the repair. Understanding how airflow is measured and validated allows you to fix P0101 correctly the first time. Testing instead of guessing saves time, money, and frustration. Always diagnose first, understand the system, and fix the root cause. Taking the time to test properly saves money and prevents unnecessary repairs. Before replacing parts, check our channel for more diagnostic tips and real-world fixes. FixCarCodes helps you understand the problem before you spend your money.